Alright, it's Duke and Dave. We're back. We are in a winter snowstorm, and we got about 8 inches of snow Friday night into Saturday, and continuing a little bit into Sunday. So, these cold temps change a lot of the work that needs to be done every day. I have to walk out to this insulated shed 3 times a day, 2 times to give the chickens and guineas water, and then it freezes within about an hour. So then I have to walk back out, pick up the frozen water, and bring that into the shed, replace it with a warm water. And then at the end of the night, I take all the water and put it back into the shed so that it can defrost overnight and do the same thing the next day. This morning, I went to make a cup of coffee and fill my pot with some cold water, and it doesn't work. Oh, you just got to turn on the water pump. Okay. That's the water pump. Yep. So, I know what this is. It's happened before. Inside the camper, we got my workstation there. Thermostat is set to 65. And that's enough to keep us warm in here. The floors still feel really cold on your feet. Duke has learned at night when we go to bed, he comes and sleeps up here because there's a heater vent right under here. It's hard to see. But it's warmer up here off the ground. But it's so cold outside. I have no water in my sink. Oh, I had some, but it's gone now. No water in my sink. Under this bed, I'm going to take you outside once I bundle up. I'm going to show you what I have to do. But I can usually tell when my water lines are going to freeze based on my bed here. Because when it gets to single temperature digits, if I move my pillows and I go in this crack, you hear that? I can feel it. That is ice. Ice between my bed and this outer wall. The outer wall is really cold. I keep my water right next to the outer wall to keep it cool. But where no heat can get in here, and that's just frozen ice. You can see the ice on my fingers. Because I'm breathing right here, and the warm moisture goes back, gets to the outer wall and freezes. So it is really cold out. But I have a big list of updates to give you, and I would rather go over the ones that I can indoors before we go outdoors, because it's going to be really cold. And you won't be seeing much of this guy out there, because he doesn't like the cold. But I did work on some rough house plans. My insulated shed right out here is just impressing me so much with how efficient it is. So I'm trying to build some house plans to kind of make the same thing but double the size. So 2x4s come in 8-foot length, so I want to make a house that's 16 feet long, so it's basically just double this 8-foot by 8-foot shed into a 16-foot by 16-foot 2-story cabin home. So I do have some videos last weekend that I recorded. I did find a good deal on some supplies, over 50% off on plywood. So I will add that to this video update. The only other thing really to show in here is I've given up my flip-flops. I don't like snow covering my feet. It gets too cold, so I do wear boots now. I bundle up in my jacket, got a nice warm hat, and these are the warmest gloves I could find. I have winter gloves somewhere that I searched for yesterday, could not find those. So I need to dig around to find my winter gloves. But we're going to be taking Mr. Buddy Heater out with the propane tank to try to warm up my four-wheeler today, I believe, because I tried starting that on Friday and it didn't work. And we'll just give you a general update, show you how much snow we got. It's really pretty out, so we'll give you a good view of the lake, and we'll go over some other projects that I have to do in the shed there, and my normal daily work of swapping out a propane tank or something similar. So when I record next, I will be bundled up nice and warm. Duke is staying in here to stay warm because he does not like the snow. And we will talk to you then. Alright. I am bundled up and ready to go over the rest of the list. Got my boots on with my pants put over my boots because I caught a lot of snow in there, but here we go. It's really bright out here. So bright and pretty. And I never knew we had them until winter came, but I have some Missouri moles, snow moles. They just make holes in the snow for no reason. Hadn't seen them until the snow came, but they're definitely here. The first thing I'm going to do, because I haven't had my coffee yet, and this is a prerequisite to coffee, open up this here. This is under my master bedroom up there where the sheets are freezing, but I have a Mr. Buddy heater and propane tank in this confined space. So all the water that comes from the camper has to go through these valves, and unless I keep my thermostat at 80, these things freeze in single digit temperatures, and I have to ration my propane. So I need to turn this on. Turn this on. See my breath under here, so it's not warm enough. I'm supposed to hold it for 30 seconds. Usually 10 seconds is good enough inside, but not outside. You basically know if you've held it long enough. When you let go, if the pilot light goes out, you gotta hold it longer. There we go. Alright, see it starting? It's so cold it's having trouble starting. You can see my breath. Oh, I have this little thermostat in here because it should stay above freezing. And it does say about 35, so I probably need to plug those little holes. Maybe that's what's freezing this, but we're gonna let that run. Hopefully that gets me some coffee this morning. you hear this, that's my heater. Oh, I forgot my notebook in here. That's my heater inside. It runs almost constantly, but it goes off for a couple minutes here and there. I was already out earlier, so you see my footprints. This is the empty propane tank that I had to swap out. I have to come over here. I'm running on this propane tank. And yes, the one that I swapped out was covered in snow, just like that. Fortunately, I had gloves. But I come in here, if this thing is red, that means the propane tank is empty. And it's been running on the new propane tank, so I swapped this over. And then for the empty propane tank, I clear off the snow, close the bottle, and swap it out, as you see I did here. And it is freezing temperatures. It's very hard to get dexterity with gloves, so I take those off. And then my fingers get freezing. So, I already did that this morning. This propane tank lasted about 2 days. I've got 2 more here and another one over there. So that's 2, 4, 6 days. And then, if worse comes to worse, that big 100-pound propane tank is empty. This one's full though. But I'm saving that as emergency, because with this much snow, there's no way my truck can get out of here even if I needed to. So if I leave here, it's going to be on foot down to my neighbor's house. And all this stuff is going to freeze. So, but I've got enough propane for hopefully at least a week, because it's going to be freezing temperatures for at least a week, and this snow is not going to melt. But on Friday, I tried starting my snowmobile. The battery was good. I cranked and cranked, and it did not start. And then the battery died on me. So Friday night, I came out, single digit temps, took off the seat, and hooked up a charger. I have a battery charger in here, and I plugged it in to my outlet, and I charged the battery. So I really want to get this not snowmobile, but 4x4 working to try to go up my hill before I bring my truck, because if I get my truck stuck there, that's even worse. And this has a winch in case I do get stuck. But I think I should have started it on a warm day rather than waiting until below freezing temps. So one of my goals for today is I'm going to put a wool blanket over the four-wheeler and put my Mr. Buddy heater that's inside my camper under the blanket. I'm going to heat things up and then crank it over and see if I can get it started. This snow is slippery. The guineas don't like being down here. I came out and I cleared their food dish and brought out some water, but they don't like the snow, so they're just staying up in the tree. Yesterday I felt so bad for the guineas because it's so cold. So I opened up the chicken door. The guineas pick on the chickens all the time, but I was like, I think with the cold temps they'll all get along. The guineas didn't even come in here. They went up there. They had a chance to come in here last night to roost, and I came out to close the pen and put the water away. They were all up in the tree. So I guess I just let them do their thing. This water, I was already out here. You can see my footprints. I brought fresh water out for my chickens this morning. It's already frozen. Guess I might as well bring that with me. Yeah, this is a block. Like, it's not like just the top layer froze. It's so cold. I cleared away the snow so that the guineas could find food. It's cold, but it's so pretty. Look at this. It's the first time I've ever seen my lake snowed over. I've seen it frozen over, partially, but I think I might be able to walk out to my floating dock in about a week's time, so stay tuned. Alright, now we're coming into the heated shack. Alright. Alright, I'm going to have to turn on a flashlight so you can see. But in here, I swap out my dishes and I put this one right in front of the heater. Or Duke's water dish right in front of the heater. In preparation, I filled up these. So these are waters straight from the spring down there that was frozen over. But I still got the water out. I'm going to close this door and show you how. Okay, there we go. Alright. So, I bought one of these. It's a transfer pump. It's kind of meant for gas cans. But it works really good. I take a pickaxe and chop a hole in the ice. And I put this into the water. And I put this into my bucket. And that's how I get frozen lake water into here. And I bring them in here to keep them from freezing. Even in here, okay, can kind of see my breath. The heater is set for 46. It's about 36, which is fine. But I've said this in a previous video, but I'm going to say it again. I am really impressed with this heater because I have not even gone through a full 5-gallon jug. It is almost empty. No, it's close to empty. But this thing, I haven't had to put more than 5 gallons of diesel in it all winter yet. And it does a great job. It keeps this, like my water tank, it's not freezing. This I keep in here. This I brought in when I had to fill my generator with gas. And it had a terrible time starting. So I just brought gas in here to warm up generator gas. We'll go over that next. But I have a couple projects in here. I just showed you this one. I got this last weekend. Filled up these tanks. These are 2 projects that I have. These are heated water dishes for livestock and animals. And it has a plug. So I bought some extension cords. Right now when I'm here, I can just go and bring them unfrozen water twice a day, which is what I've been doing. But if I get lazy, I could just plug this extension cord into my camper, put one of these, or 2 of them, out for the birds, put some water in it, and that should keep them fresh water. But I don't know how much battery that's going to drain, so I do need to put this out before February because I plan to go on a little weekend vacation in February, and I need to make sure that everything works. So I might do this today. Probably not this. I've got other projects for today. One thing that did happen to me on Friday, right before the big snowstorm, super cold weather, my batteries died. I was like, why are my batteries dead? I've been checking on them. Well, I found out if I don't close my application, that I have a Bluetooth app that I can check from my camper up there. If I don't close the application, sometimes the cache just keeps it looking like like it's full and it's not moving. So Friday, in below freezing temps, I had to come out and run my generator to charge all my batteries. And whenever my batteries dies, it resets the whole settings in here, and he's not even on to start with. But then I have to go in and set it to the automatic thermostat adjustment and turn down the temperature to 46 degrees so that I don't keep this too warm to waste fuel, but I keep it above freezing. Okay, so we're getting closer. Another project that I have in here, right here. This is a UV lamp that is meant for killing algae in aquariums. So I plan to put this UV lamp inside of my tank to stop algae from growing, because it looks really clear from out on this side of the tank. But I noticed on my last video, when I was filming the top of it, it's pretty yellow. And I usually put some bleach in there. I usually put some bleach in there to kill the algae. But when I put in the recommended dose, it's not strong enough to kill the algae. And when I put in more, I kill my houseplants, because I use this water to feed my houseplants, and I used it and it killed my plant. So I was like, oh, I probably have too much chlorine in there. So I've been buying bottled water and drinking that. I do have reverse osmosis, which does not taste like chlorine at all. But it takes 5 gallons of water to make 1 gallon of drinking water. Which means I'm using this water and I have to drain my tank more often. So for $1.36 at Walmart, buying 1 gallon of water was worth the hassle of filling this up and draining my other tank in the winter weather. Summertime, I'm not going to be buying bottled water. I think that's about it for projects in here. I do want to, as I do more and more projects, things become more unorganized. So I do want to put some shelving up over here so that I have more space for more projects, I guess, but also be a little more organized. So I did mention that these batteries died on me. But once I reset the app and the batteries were all reset, I've noticed that I have a Bluetooth app and I can connect to each battery. And as I connect to them, one battery might show 80% full, another battery 86%, 183. I was like, they're all connected in parallel, so they should all show the same thing. But I was reading online what I need to do. Right now, the whole load to the solar charger, which then goes to my inverter, comes from one battery. So all these have to trickle charge. So what I need to do is put all the batteries on one bus. And then the one bus, all these with the same length of cord go to a bus bar for positive and negative, and then the bus bar is what is supposed to connect to my solar charger, which then goes to the inverter. So that is on my list of things to do, kind of a priority. But I started that, and I need these cords are not quite long enough to all go to, I do have bus bars, but these power cables aren't long enough to go to the bus bar, so I have to fabricate my own. And it's been so cold, I haven't had the motivation for that. So that is on my to-do list. Next thing to show you is we're going to come out here and show you the generator. Ooh, see? Unused snow. Throw that in there. Alright. Ooh, about fell there. Alright, so my generator that I had to run on Friday is right here. And I specifically did put fresh fuel in here before the cold storm came, so I was able to run the generator for about 8 hours before it would run out of fuel, but that wasn't enough to charge the battery. So in order to put fuel in here, because you see it's under my shed, I have to undo my fencing, pull that out, unplug all the cables, move the rocks, which that was actually the hardest part because these rocks are frozen to the ground. And my fingers were freezing because I didn't have gloves on at the time. Pull my generator out, fill it with gasoline, and then put it back in, put the rocks under it, hook the cables up. And it sounds super simple and easy, but this generator is heavy, and pulling it downhill isn't too bad, but pushing it uphill is bad. And then I had to turn it. And fortunately, I did it when it was only single digit temps and not all this snow, so I'm hoping I don't have to use the generator. There's one gas can out there. That's what I filled it with before. If I fill it again, I'm going to use the heated one that's in my shed. Whoa, here's my solar panels. That board's looking a little bowed, but it's held up so far. I'm definitely doing today. Gonna get a broom and sweep these off. That's the pretty frozen lake. And minus my guineas, it's just super quiet. There's no wildlife. Everybody's bunkered down. I wish I could zoom on the GoPro, but my floating dock is still out there in the middle, and if we're gonna have a full week of frozen temperatures, I might chance trying to walk out there just to prove that I can do it. What else is there to go over outdoors here? Oh, I can show you the bus bars that I have. I did come out and I was gonna scavenge my bus bars from my shock shack, because I did have bus bars here. So I took off all the covers of the bus bars, but in order to get the bus bars out, I have to get my tool set out and take off all the wires. And at that point, I just wasn't ready to do that project yet. All these guineas, I feel so bad for them. I wish I had built them something to where there wouldn't be snow on the ground and they would have a covering. I did open this up. You know what? I'm going to open it up again. Although there's been no even these chickens, they didn't even come out to get the water. I got up early in the morning to give them fresh water, and they haven't even come out to get it because there's no footprints. And I don't want a predator getting in here to get my chickens. The guineas are pretty safe. And they have food. I feel bad for them. Alright, so I mentioned that my batteries died on Friday. When I started the generator, it almost didn't start. It has a push button start, but I had to crank and crank on it. I thought I was going to have to pull it out from underneath the shed and pull start it to get it started, but it finally started. I was like, I better try to start my four-wheeler before the snow comes. And that's when I tried to start it, and I already mentioned the battery had to be charged. So my projects for today is to brush the snow off of this, go get a wool blanket, pull out my Mr. Buddy heater, put it under here with the blanket over it and warm it up, try to get this started. Because before I try taking my truck up my hill with 8 inches of snow, I want to see if the four-wheeler can get up. If this four-wheeler can't get up the hill, then I know my truck won't be able to get up the hill. But if my four-wheeler can get up there, there's a chance my truck can, and if it can't, I do have a tractor with a grading blade that I might be able to clear some snow with if needed. So, projects for today, make sure guineas and chickens survive. See if I can start my four-wheeler, and coffee. Coffee's first. Let's see what temperature is now. Oh, it feels warmer in here. I'm hoping this is focusing, but it's above 34, so that's good. Uh-oh. Ah, no. The heater shut off. Oh! I guess this thing was still open, and I closed it, and it was just running off of the gas from the hose. Uh-oh. Well, whenever it runs out of gas in the hose, it takes a long time to prime it. Oh, usually does. Okay. Alright, that one's going. Alright, that's trying to start. Alright, so righty-tighty is closed. Okay, that's open. Alright. I was like, this should have been way warmer than the same temperature that we started with. There goes my coffee. Alright. Surprisingly, that little tour, the battery is about dead on this GoPro because it's so cold out. Duke, you want to come out? You want to come? Oh, you like the snow? Oh, you just want to go right back in. There. Yeah. Alright, so coffee's going to have to wait just a little bit. And that's a tour. I forgot my book out in the shed, but that's enough for me to stop this video. And I think another project today, as much as I like viewing out this window, in order to save propane, I think I'm gonna cover that with some insulated foil like I did in all my other windows. This one I'll keep open so that I can see my guineas and just check on things. But I did find, if I cover this window, if I want to I usually wake up to the light from that window, but what I can do is wake up to my sunlight. So I'll probably end up doing that because heat rises anyway. So that's another project for today, is probably put some insulation over this window. And I do have dishes in the sink, but I wait until they pile up pretty good before I do dishes, because I have to run a bunch of hot water to turn on my hot water propane tank in order to do it. So they sit there and they wait. But that's it for Dave and Duke, and we're signing off for now. Alright, I'm back. I have my GoPro hooked up to this battery bank so that we can continue our exploration. I didn't show you the camper, the old camper. There's my wood pile, barely visible under the tarp. It's a good day to grill some food, but if I'm grilling, it's going to be indoors because I could use that heat. These are my extra solar panels that I have. Oh, I forgot to mention, these solar panels, ever since I put the planks in and angled them right, lower down, on sunny days, they do a great job of charging my batteries. They do such a good job that it overcharges my batteries, and I think it shuts the batteries know they're fully charged, so they shut off, and then the solar panels, or the solar charger, tries to regulate the energy, but the inverter, it's a spike in power, it shuts off my electricity in the camper, and I have to come out and hit the reset button. So last week I had so much extra energy, I unplugged my solar panels down there. So that's why they were so low this week. That on top of not knowing how full they were. So we're going to come in here and we'll look for a wool blanket and my winter gloves, because I could not find those anywhere in my other camper. And I did get rid of a lot of stuff when I moved, but I don't think I got rid of my gloves. In here, I opened the windows because it still smells like mice and rats in here, so without fresh air, it smells a lot better now. It still smells like Duke dog bed, but not as bad as mice and rats. So this has become a storage unit. I had to put these out because they got a little wet in the rain, so they just dry out. I have mouse traps everywhere, so if there are mice in here, hopefully they get trapped in there. This is my old bed. Survived all summer. Treated me really well until winter came. This camper doesn't have a heater that works, but I have a feeling underneath this bed. Yes! This is my winter stuff. Perfect. I searched through my storage shed. I thought this was in a container in my other storage shed. Oh, these are going to come in so handy. Alright, that's good news. Ooh, snow pants. Those might come in handy. I do have 2 blankets in here, but I don't want to put these blankets. Oh, there it is. Wool blanket. These blankets might catch on fire. Wool blankets are pretty fire resistant, so now I know where I have an extra hoodie and my snow pants and extra blankets. Alright, that makes for a good day. And you can see here, this window's open, but you can't see anything out of it because it's covered in snow. Alright. These are from my project down here with the solar panels. I had to cut some weeds and trim some trees, so I should have put them up where they belong, but that day I worked until dark and didn't feel like walking all the way up there to put them away. Alright, that's it. Good. I found these. I'm going to put on gloves. I already have my furry hat on, so I don't need the hat, but I'm putting on gloves, and I'm going to go drape this over my four-wheeler and bring out my Mr. Buddy heater and see if we can heat it up and get it started. Because I would feel a lot better about being stuck out here with a four-wheeler that works than I might be able to get up my hill if I needed to. But I am going to miss this camper because it does have really good views of the lake right there through this big picture window. I offered it to 2 of my neighbors and they both said they wanted it, but nobody had the goals to come and take it out of here, so it might stay here as a nice summertime getaway for friends and family or other visitors because it does have a nice view. But you won't get to see this view in the summertime. It's a frozen lake right there. It's so quiet and pretty and peaceful. But I do need to sweep the solar panels off. That should actually probably be my first task. But I am not going inside to get my tripod to set up my camera to record all that because it is cold out, and I'll just do it and maybe update you once I'm done. But that's alright. Quick update. Remember I told you before to make sure your sweatpants are outside your shoes? When I went inside I forgot to do it to this shoe. So there's a whole bunch of snow in there. But if we come down here, solar panels are all swept off, which is a lot less load on the frame, which is good. And I think the sun's supposed to come out in about 2 days. So that'll help charge my batteries. But before I did that, I put on gloves, which these were very useful for sweeping those solar panels. But if you look over here, I went inside and got my Mr. Buddy heater and a blanket to try to heat this thing up. And I really don't trust the heater with the blanket covering it this close with all my propane tanks around, so I brought up the fire extinguisher too, just in case. So I'm going to check on this, let it run for a little bit, and hopefully update you with the successful status of starting up a 4x4. Alright, quick update. The sun has peeked its head out. It was snowing pretty good just a little while ago. It's been about 2 hours, and I'm trying to warm up this Mr. Buddy heater. I hope you can hear it whistling. But there seems to be condensation that's coming in through the gas line. So every 10 or 15 minutes, I have to turn this off, tilt it to the side. Water comes out that gas port and stops the whistling noise. And then it continues to go. So I think this might be a bad unfiltered propane tank. Was doing some research online. I think I'm supposed to have a filter that goes between this propane tank and my Mr. Buddy heater that filters out any moisture. So I need to add that to my list of things to get. Also, I went outside and I checked on the Mr. Buddy heater that's running under here that I recorded earlier. It's still going, and the compartment under here is warm, so the water lines are unfroze, but there's still no water pressure. There was some in here, and I was trying to make coffee. I still haven't got my coffee yet, but even over here, no water pressure. And when I turn on my water pump, it kicks on like it wants to pump water, but it's not doing anything. So I think what that means is that the fresh water tank that's under here, it's also my pantry, might be frozen so that fresh water can't come up and go into the pump. So that one is hooked up to the indoor heater. So I've cranked it up to 75 degrees in here, because once I started the Mr. Buddy heater, the inside heater wasn't working to keep the other tanks warm. But also I opened up all the cabinets to let warm air go in there, because those were really cold when I opened them up. But I still don't have running water, and yes, I could just go out to my storage shed, grab a gallon of fresh water, and make coffee. But I want to get my water working, so when I do finally get water, I'm going to fill up my coffee pot all the way, and I'm going to make 12 cups of coffee instead of my normal 4, and then the next day I can just heat it up without needing to unfreeze everything. But I do want to just make sure that I can get everything unfrozen in case I don't want to use my outside toilet out there. If I want to use the indoor toilet, I kind of need some water. So my next step is to grab this heater. It seems to be running okay. It's not running real good, but it's keeping lit. So I'm going to go try to use this heater to go unfreeze my four-wheeler next and see if we can get that started. But that's an update for this video. We'll let you know how that goes. Alright. I'm back. The Mr. Buddy heater that's in my camper nook is working. It's heating that up, so hopefully I can get some coffee soon. But this one, I tried and I tried. It looked like it started when I first put it out there, but when I walked away and shoveled the snow off the solar panels, it went out. And I can get the pilot light to kind of light, but it won't stay lit. So I think it's just the gas is too cold for it to start. So I'm bringing it in the camper to warm that up. I'm going to try to make some coffee. And I'm going to warm up my toes. My toes are cold. Oh, and I forgot to mention, I just uploaded a whole bunch of videos that I had from last weekend and this weekend in the 2 hours that I was quote unquote waiting around. Tipping this thing over every so often, checking on the outdoor heater every so often. I did upload all my videos that I've taken so far onto my phone that I use to upload and edit my videos before I send them to YouTube. So, yep, gonna go do some more work and we'll let you know how it goes. Alright, under here, I've got the heater steaming, it's still working. I think I have to block the wind. I don't think these things are meant for wind. To keep the propane tank, oh no, the wind. To keep the propane tank from getting too cold, I put it under the blanket too. Okay, I gotta put, the wind just blew this onto the heater. I gotta put some rocks or something with weight to keep the blanket from moving. In here, you see on the outside, the inside is so warm, the water's melting, but on the outside, there's icicles. But I opened this up. This Mr. Buddy heater works real good. These are not frozen, I know that. So I turned off this Mr. Buddy heater, but I turned on my freshwater tank heater, which is a heating pad under the camper for the fresh water tank, because I think maybe that is frozen. But the sun's out. Nice and sunny. I'm gonna find something heavy to put on this. I could just maybe throw some snow up there, but I have to take off my glove to record. The guineas are still in the tree. There's one chicken that's braving the elements. Oh, there's two of them. Three. Hi, chick. Hi, chick. Where's your water dish? I think I brought it inside. Also, we've been still getting some fresh snow. And the lake used to look yellowish green, because I think the lake water got to the snow, but then it froze over. And now it's just like perfectly white. It's pretty. And my floating dock is out there. It's tempting just to try it, but I know it's not. This was water a couple days ago, so I know the ice is not thick enough to go out there yet. It is a lot harder to walk through all the snow. But this is what I do 2 times a day. Come from my camper out here. I get the chickens some water that's de-thawed. And I usually get Duke his water and put it under the camper because he doesn't like the snow. So he drinks his water there. And the guineas used to drink from the lake. I don't know what they do for water. I might have to get one of those water heating bowls. Hi, Chichi. Hi, Chichi. Here, Chichi. They haven't come down all day. I don't think they like the snow. I'm really tempted to clear the snow off of the... Oh, this is the pile of wood that I'm going to show a time lapse of that I loaded last weekend. There's about 50 sheets of plywood and about 30 sheets of aluminum roofing. And this is all slated for my house build over here this spring. So that's it. Okay, so here I am. Rather than doing the elevator music, I'm just going to give a brief overview of what I'm doing. This was last weekend. It wasn't snowy yet. It was still cold. But here I am, loading up my trailer, because I have an adventure last weekend. And this first one that you see me do, I go to Poplar Bluff and pick up some wood. So while in Poplar Bluff, I got 50 sheets of plywood. And I found this on Facebook Marketplace. It was 50% off. So I was like, that's a good bargain. And I think it's because it's wintertime and nobody's doing construction. So in the back of my truck, I have 20 sheets of 3/4 inch plywood. And on my trailer, I have 30 sheets of 5/8 inch plywood. So I made it back here. Now I have to find a place to unload it all. And I want to keep it dry for the winter. So I put some cinder blocks down. And now it's just time to unload. And I had to load all this up because it's not like Menards where they load it for you. You go to this shop. It's secondhand sale. So you go and bring your trailer and truck into their garage, load it all up yourself. And then once everything's loaded, first you pay your bill, but then you go and load it all up yourself. They check your receipt, and then you're able to walk away with it. So I was already tired before I even did this, so... Now I have to undo this trailer because it's unloaded. Yay! Halfway there. Only 20 more sheets of 3/4 inch plywood to unload. And it was cold this day, but I was just happy to get a good deal on all this lumber, and it inspired me to think a little harder about the house that I'm going to build. All this 3/4 inch is for the floor. The first 30 sheets that I unloaded, those were for the siding. Alright, now it's time to load up the trailer, get that out of there, because I drove an hour to go to Poplar Bluff to pick up the plywood. I found another good deal, another hour away, all the way in Farmington. So I came back, covered my wood, and on my trailer is about 30 sheets of galvanized metal roofing. So it doesn't look like much, but that galvanized metal roofing is pretty heavy. So here in this video that I'm doing, I had to unstrap it, throw away the trash, back up my trailer. I tried to push it over the hump, but it was too heavy for me to push over the hump. So get the first sheet of galvanized steel on there, and I realized this was supposed to be 3 feet by 10 feet, but I ended up somehow getting the pieces of 3 feet by 8 feet. So I got shorted somehow. I should have measured it when they loaded me up, but I loaded a couple sheets, 1 by 1 and 2 by 2, and then was like, this is going to take forever. So these ones here, I'm loading about 3 or 4 at a time, and they're not light. So I pull them off the trailer, put them on the ground, pick them up, brush the dirt off because I don't want rust to get in there. And yeah, then I loaded it up, parked my trailer. Exciting. At least one of the chickens found no water. I should bring out the other water for the guineas. I don't think they'll fly down, but it's worth a try. Alright, blanket's not on fire yet. We'll see if the heater's still running after this tiny chore. Alright, and we'll bring out the guinea bucket. I think my glove is blocking you too. Alright, we'll put the water there and entice him down with some food. I keep one brick on here so that the wind doesn't blow this open, because there was one rainstorm. Wind blew this open and a bunch of rain got my feet all wet. The chicken just stood on the water dish and knocked it over. Hopefully they get enough water before it freezes. Hi, kitty kitty. Alright. Let's go check on the heater, see if it's still running. Nope, it stopped. Alright, well, these things do have O2 sensors. I wonder if it doesn't have enough air, or if it just froze up again. Alright, you don't need to see this. I'll tell you more later. Alright. I got the heater started again under here. Just slowly warming it up. I knew I had some paper stones. I couldn't see them in the snow though. I got 4 of them on the corners, which will keep the blanket off of the heater, and then I also lowered this side to keep the wind. I think the wind blew out the heater last time, so We're just trying to warm this up enough to start it. But I remember I just picked up these paper stones the other day. It's like, they're around here. Sure enough. Put my hand in there, fished around a little bit, and found my stack of paper stones. Hopefully it stops snowing so I can find all my propane bottles, because these ones, they'd be easy to find, but if the snow covers them, I'll be out here with a broom and possibly a shovel. I think when I first moved here, up in there, I think they had a shovel, but I know for a fact I did not bring one from Texas, so if I need a shovel, I'll go looking. Hey, the guineas are down. Good, and they'll probably drink some water. Alright. Man, it's so pretty out. Wow. Alright. That's it for this one. Alright. Still waiting on the four-wheeler to warm up. Once the sun came out, somebody decided to come outside with me. He's ready to go right back in. He's staying out of the snow under there. But I did run an extension cord from my camper all the way along here. All the way over here. And we're going to try out this heated watering bowl and see how it works, because within 5 minutes of me putting out the chicken dish and the guinea dish, they just tipped it over. But I did open this so that they could all share the same water bowl. But the guineas have kicked the chickens out. The chickens were inside the roost all day. But now, all the chickens, 3 of them, are out here. And all the guineas are blocking the path. I'm hoping they can all roost in the same place at night, though, at least. Because it's going to get down to 0 degrees tonight. But, yeah, we'll keep an eye on the water heater. This guineas are not very smart. He trapped himself in the bird netting, trying to fly out of the coop instead of walking through the door. So now I gotta go fix him. But I can't hold this and do that at the same time, so we'll see. Oh yeah. Melted all the snow. Warmed enough to get started. That means I can turn this off. Half choke. Alright. Gotta let that engine warm up. We had a slight accident out here. Duke was under the camper. I was checking on my guineas and chickens and decided this would be a great place to make a snow angel. So I just fell down into the snow, and Duke saw me fall and came leaping out to protect me, but he couldn't stop. He ran right over my head and then turned around when I yelled at him. Went back to where he came from, but he nicked me right on the corner of my eye. So now I got a bloody eye, but I did get my snow angel done. And the four-wheeler started, so that's a plus. We're gonna let this warm up for a while. Choke is off. Alright, that's good. I did put in winterized fuel in here, so that should keep it running good. I gotta make sure my fuel's on. It is. Alright. Whoa, this is nice and warm in here. Alright, so my plan is, before I take my truck up the hill, I need to make sure that I can get a four-wheeler up the hill. Because if I can't even get up there in a 4x4 four-wheeler with knobby tires, there's no way I'll be able to get my truck up there. So I don't have to do that today. I'm hoping, because I started this now, next time I come to start it, it'll start up. But it started right up after like 2 cranks. I should have recorded it, but alright, whew, that makes me feel better. I thought if I needed to go to town for anything in like a week, because the snow's going to be around for a long time. We're not supposed to get temps above freezing except one day next week, and it's going to get up to 36. So this snow's going to be around for a while. Alright, now it's time to go in and warm up. Alright, there's Duke. We're gonna go check on the birds. Alright, I can see from here their water dish is still water, so that's good. I think the heater is working. I got the four-wheeler started. I took it about that far because I'm thinking about trying to get up the hill, go check on my neighbor during daylight and see how bad it is. But I figure that might be something you want to see. So I'm trying out a new head cam. You probably can't see, but I got a extension cord into my pocket with the battery bank because this thing dies so fast in the cold. But we're gonna try to get up the mountain. I know it's not a snowmobile, but it does have four-wheel drive. It was hard getting just to that point, so I don't have high hopes for it, but we'll at least try. So it's recording. I'm going to put you in my head, hopefully. If it stops recording, I won't even know. Alright, I think you're good. Alright, to go into reverse, you got to put your foot on the brake. As you can see, there's not a whole lot of space, so I got to back it out first. Alright, here we go up the mountain. Make sure we're in four-wheel drive. We are. I forgot my gloves. All right, Duke doesn't have gloves. If I get cold, we're coming back. I don't think that's working, is it, Duke? I'm trying to turn, but four-wheeler doesn't want to turn, and this is not even the steepest part of the hill. Yeah, it's just going straight back. All right, we're backing straight up. I'm sure you're thinking the same thing as me. What if we just get a running start? All right, we'll try that. That is cold on the fingers. Duke, good boy. Oh, poor Duke. Duke, we're almost there. All right, camera's still on. This is my trail cam. I got a salt lick for the deer. There's a bunch of deer corn. That's my snow gauge, and it's buried, so now we know. Looks like my neighbor's already been down the road, so that's a good sign. I'm going to stop and make sure you're recording. This is my property boundary. You see the ribbons on the trees. This is a tough hill. I can't get up it in my trucks.
About halfway up. So last year we could do it, but the snow wasn't this like fluffy, this soft.
Yep.
Last year it was like ice kind of, so it was harder. So I had better grip. So, when it melts a little, I bet I can get up it. But right now, yeah, I only got halfway up.
I was gonna say it looked like there were tracks. Somebody made it. You must have.
I made it down, and then I tried a few times to get up, and I wasn't able to get up.
I'll go put him in. I'm coming down to visit Dick and Barb. I'll go put him inside, and I can try to either give you a ride, or I'll let you try to take this up. Like,
I ain't gonna say no to that, but we're gonna walk.
All right. Well, keep walking. I'll come meet you, and
Okay.
then I'll probably end up meeting you up there, and then I'll just walk back, and you can walk up. But I guess you have to drop it off to me somehow.
Yeah.
Because we could fit 2 people on here, but I don't know about 3.
I mean, we could. I guess if we go slow, one could be on the back, one on the front. But I mean.
How about this? You take it for the time being. Be careful with it.
The next time that we're gonna come down is tomorrow morning.
That's
Early tomorrow morning.
That's fine. This snow's not going to melt for a long time, though.
Yeah, I know that. But I mean, it's okay. Like, don't
All right.
feel that you need to.
All right, I just feel really bad because I know you guys got a long walk.
No, it's fine. Like I said, so I think it's going to be 2 or 3 days. It's not going to melt, but in like 3 or 4 days or something, it's going to get
above freezing. Yeah, in
and
2 days.
When it does that, ice will melt a little, just enough that I think I can get up.
Okay.
I mean, maybe not, maybe it won't, but it might be that we have to walk until for the next week or 2.
All right. I'll go put him in there, and then I'll come back up. I'll help you. I can take you one at a time if possible. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be more convenient, so we don't have to.
Oh boy. All right, we made it to our destination. All right, I couldn't leave a cliffhanger there, but Duke and I made it home. It's no longer snowing out, but it's really cold, really pretty. We ended up taking the 4-wheeler and drove my neighbors that you saw earlier all the way up to their cabin. Then went and visited with Dick and Barb, who are my neighbors at the bottom of the hill. I gave them some chicken eggs, and they're collecting these for me, so that's nice. So I can give them some more eggs, because I have too many chicken eggs already. And they also gave me some extra food from the food pantry. they go there and pick up what they need and get their essentials, and you're not allowed to pick your food, so they have to pick up multiple boxes. So they go and get what they need, and then they just give it back to the food bank. But I happened to be there, and they're like, oh yeah, we're giving this back to the food bank. I was like, well, I could use some spaghetti sauce and some pasta to put it on. So I have plenty of food, so I don't know when I'll be able to get my truck back up the hill and go into town, but until then, I got food there. I have quite a bit of propane. I'm going to monitor that. Hopefully, coffee I'm going to work on tomorrow. I still did not get my coffee today. But yeah, that's about a wrap. This is a really long video. I'm hoping the new video edits and narrating over the fast speed video is better than the elevator music. So give me a likes or a thumbs up and let me know. If you like the narrative, give me a thumbs up. If you would rather have the elevator music, go ahead and leave a comment. That's about it.